My name is Austin Cain, Austin Jeroy Cain. I'm 22 years old. I turned 21 in my project in South Africa. Yay! I'm from Park Hill, which is a small village off the main road on the way to Georgetown in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Joined the Richmond Vale Academy in March of 2009 because I had a deep love for Africa. I had always seen advertisements where they show you persons with the big bellies, very, very black in complexion, really slim, and flies all around them. And I always knew to myself, if there is something that I can do for these people, I will. If there is some way I can make a difference, I would really love to. During this time we had a lot of morning classes, normally for 1 to 2 hours, dealing with health and hygiene, epidemics in the world, garden farming. This is where I learned a lot from the other persons around me who were more knowledgeable in the garden. Yeah, they taught a lot of things that I was able to use, or methods that I was able to share with the other persons in the project that I worked in South Africa. We also did community work where we had Spanish classes at the Pittibordell Secondary School. We also set up tents in and around Chateaubriand. For example, Fitzhugh's at the primary school, where we spoke to the children about HIV and AIDS. And we also had like maths programs and classes running. The HIV and AIDS epidemic was really starting to rise in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and it is something that became very clear to me. It's something that I really wanted to assist with. So I knew that it was on a larger scale in South Africa especially, where close to 3.5 million persons had already been infected with the virus. So TCE is a 3-year program. What it does, it empowers local people by training them to be field officers. And the work of a field officer is to go house to house, door to door on a daily basis, giving people information about HIV and AIDS. The original day, the first day, the initiation was amazing. Everyone seemed to be really happy to have me in the troop, and that made it a lot more easier for me to get settled into the project. So South Africans in general were very friendly persons, especially in the program where I worked. Within the rural communities, everyone was willing to accept you with open arms. They were even willing to try to speak your language, but even though they were more determined to get you to learn theirs. We did numerous events, especially cleaning campaigns. During a cleaning campaign at a clinic, and it is expected that one of the best places or one of the most hygienic places for you to be when you're sick is at a clinic. But then I had visited the clinic earlier during the week, and I had noticed some things just lying around, and I decided, okay, I would like to offer my services to these people to work along with them to do a cleanup campaign around the premises. We believe that one of the best ways to get across to persons, to get them to understand the dangers of HIV and AIDS, is to equip them with knowledge. Hence, we went about into various communities in and around South Africa to set up TCE libraries, where we would put books about HIV and AIDS, and some also about the projects for persons who would be interested in becoming a passionate. That is someone who would volunteer to go about with us, either distributing condoms, or we eventually give them information. We teach them so that they, in turn, after TCE leaves, they could continue the work that TCE was doing to educate the persons around them about HIV and AIDS. I had to conduct what was called an impact assessment. This would actually measure the reach of TCE in a specific area. So I would go to the houses in the field to find out just how many persons have been reached by the program. Now, as a Vincentian going into a TCE project into the rural areas, it was very difficult at times to communicate, at least initially, to persons because none of them spoke English, or I would meet maybe 1 in 11 houses where I would find someone that speaks English. Condoms have worms. And a pregnant woman with an STI cannot pass the infection to her baby, but this, I mean, where we're from, we know that that is very much possible. That you can contract HIV/AIDS from eating the vegetable beetroot, which was really appalling. So, I had a lot of conversations, trying to tell people, trying to make them more knowledgeable that beetroot is actually a vegetable. It grows on trees, and trees do not have blood. They do not carry the HIV virus. So, being a development instructor in South Africa and also here in St. Vincent, I learned to be more of an initiative taker. I learned to step forward and take a stance and say, okay, this is what we do and this is how we accomplish it. Now, it's a known fact that no man is an island, but there has got to be someone leading forth on that island. So I was able to work with the persons around me to take a stance to say, let's make this happen. And something that I really learned in South Africa is that you are only limited by your thinking. If you go about thinking, okay, I cannot do this, then you won't achieve it. But if you think, yes, I can, you run into a problem, you say, okay, this is how I'll get around it. You will. It's very much possible. You're only limited by your thinking. A Camp Future program for me is when you come back and you share your experiences with other people. You put people in a position where they can understand what you have been through and what others are going through on a daily basis. To me, it has been a great learning experience because sharing my information with persons is also rekindled some of the emotions that I felt while I was working in Richmond, Vale, and specifically in South Africa. I've been spending the majority of my time doing interviews and writing articles which I publish to the newspapers to share my experiences with the Vincentian public. First of all, you have to remember that what you're doing or what you attempt to do is based mainly on your heart and your understanding of the situation that you're about to be involved in. Because you may be expected to move away from your culture, and then specifically here in RVA you are going to be living with a lot of different people from different backgrounds. So the things they might be used to, they might be new to you. The things that you are used to, it might be new to them. So you have to basically find a halfway point to say, okay, yeah, this is a new experience. I'm willing to learn, or I'm willing to accept, or maybe you should just try things my way for once to see how that goes. But being a volunteer, it really takes a lot of determination and understanding and willingness to learn.